Good afternoon to you. It is Thursday, July 27th at 3:49, 3:50 p.m. I'm Boiler Dowd here to talk a little bit about Big Ten Media Day, Media Days, pardon me. Hope you're doing well. It's been about, what, 4 weeks since I spoke to you last. Hope all is well on your end. Lot to talk about. Some things directly pertaining to Media Day. Some things just off the path, and some other stuff we've just kind of picked up in the last few weeks. But before I do it, let me say thanks to our sponsors. Like I told you last quick cast, sponsors aren't officially on board until football season actually begins, but we're excited to have them as part of the Boiled Sports family. Really excited. Of course, AJ's. Go over to AJ's on Vine whenever you're on campus. Go to eataj's.com before you get there. Order something and then enjoy it as I do. There are a lot of things I like there. If you want to eat healthy, you'll grab the funnel cake fries or funnel cake sticks. Pardon me. Greg, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope you've been well. Greg and I have been interacting quite a bit on Twitter, and a lot of stuff been happening back and forth. I'm actually starting to crank up the old Twitter machine, or the whatever Twitter X machine, whatever you want to call it. Thanks to Tom and Ted tuning in live. I'm sure there'll be a couple others, but until there's a bunch of us here, it's just our little. It's kind of just a bunch of us sitting around talking about crap that we've seen the last few days. If you're not lucky enough to be at home during the media days and you haven't been able to sit in front of Big Ten Network like I have, I'll give you some of my thoughts on what I've seen, and you can tell me I'm wrong in the comments below or on Twitter, wherever you want. But I think I didn't talk about our other sponsor yet, Home Field Apparel. Head to homefieldapparel.com, enter Boiled at checkout, get 15% off. I'm super excited that I have some gear coming that I ordered. They had a big Purdue release a little over a week ago, or a week ago tomorrow, pardon me. No, almost 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And stuff's really cool. I've got some things that you're going to make fun of, and I'm not going to tell you when I wear them, but I'll give you a hint. I love the underdog. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I love the underdog, but you're going to have to look for how that works into the show and my apparel in the next few weeks. But I do have some home field gear coming, additional home field gear. I had a couple things I bought before they were on board as a partner with Boiled Sports. But now that it's official, I'm pretty excited to break out some of the home field stuff. So let me tell you what I saw at Big Ten Media Day. We had a good discussion, a sidebar discussion, the other Boiled Sports fellas talking about our thoughts of the media. There's a bit of a I don't want to say a problem, but there's some people in the national media that are struggling a little bit with Gold and Black having the tie-in with Purdue's NIL. What do you call it? The NIL relationship, and we started talking about the media, and we started talking about the media day and what all this means to Purdue and what all these relationships mean to each other. One thing you're going to see at these media days, number one, is it's a dog and pony show. It's a beauty contest, however you want to say it. Guys are rolling out. They're saying the same things they've said for years. Of course, we don't have that because Coach Walters, this is the first time he's been in this position as a head coach. First time he's been on the big podium. He's very at ease. I said that when I got to meet him a couple weeks ago, and he looks like the same guy here. But man, that dude can dress. I'll tell you what, he looks more sharp than anybody on the Big Ten Network. It's still on right now. Tom Allen, of course, is speaking to the Big Ten panel right now if you are in front of a TV. But, yeah, Coach Walters, he looks like he could suit up right now. He's in great shape, but he can dress really well. Enough of my crush, but I'm going to move on. But we talked about the media, how they cover things. The first one is how they covered Northwestern was interesting because you didn't hear any difficult questions really thrown at the interim coach. Can't remember Braun is his name. Braun already in a little bit. There's no hot water there. It's already boiling. The pot is already boiling at Northwestern. New problems keep coming up every other day. They didn't give him any hard questions. I thought maybe that's an agreement with the Big Ten Network. They said, hey, don't bring that stuff up. It's not his battle to fight. He obviously didn't have Northwestern players there to talk about the things that have been going down and been releasing slowly via the whistleblowers or whatever. And then you had Northwestern's athletic director on with Dave Revson. Dave Revson, of course, is a Northwestern grad. He has vested interest in many ways in Northwestern. He tried to ask some difficult questions of Northwestern's AD, who answered nothing. So you learned nothing at all about the biggest story of Big Ten Media Day. You learned nothing. And if that was one thing you wanted to tune in to find out, well, good luck. It's not happening. Northwestern also hasn't addressed the media at all. They haven't sent out anybody front and center about this. It's probably because, like I said last time I talked, there's a lot of legal advice going on. But this is a microcosm, right? We have also problems with Harbaugh right now. Harbaugh is facing a potential suspension for the first 4 games of the season for not cooperating with an NCAA investigation. Harbaugh was asked about that by The Athletic, I think, one of the national outlets. He didn't answer it, said he couldn't. You had the stuff that's happening in Minnesota with PJ Fleck being a cult of personality, demanding people applaud. Not only applaud, but applaud him loudly when you walk into the room. No surprise to hear weirdness coming from Minnesota and PJ Fleck, because he's a weird dude. He's a guy that really does need to be the center of attention. If you've ever been to a game with Minnesota playing, he runs up and down the sidelines with his tight pants, directs people to come see him. It's all about him all the time. So hearing those stories, they weren't that surprising. I don't think there's anything that's even close to fireable there. Further, Minnesota people love PJ Fleck. But he got asked one question. So you saw one question to Harbaugh, one question to Fleck. Fleck got very pissed off at the question. He kind of fired back, said it was all an analogy. He addressed one part of this bigger problem that's happening at Minnesota with him as in the center of it. But he addressed one. He got very mad, and he pretty much said it's all an analogy. Well, let's be real honest, PJ. Everything's an analogy with you. Every time he speaks, it's an analogy. The whole damn thing he's built on is rowing the boat. He's a good coach. I'm not going to take anything away. I can't say it's easy to win nearly 10 games a year, which he has as a head coach. He's a good coach. The gimmicks get a lot old for people like me, and the personality, just watching him peddle his snake oil on things like the Big Ten Media Day, get really old to me. And so the Big Ten media, the whole point is they weren't going to push PJ very hard. They one question really set him off, okay? And then you saw the panel. They weren't going to push him hard there, and they don't push people hard. They're not going to push people hard. It got us into a bigger discussion at Boiled Sports about what the media is allowed to ask, what should they ask, does local media, meaning at university, do they go after the hard stories? Well, I think we know the answer to that, right? A lot of this is based on the university letting people in as much as they can, as much as they feel like letting them, controlling the story as much as they can. Is it bad? Is it unusual? I think it's bad. Jay Money thinks it's horrible. I think Anish also, Michael, Dave also think it's bad to different levels. But it's also kind of part of the game, right? If you're going to have a major story break about a big scandal or a scandal at all, it's generally going to be broken by someone on the outside who got a tip and they had to start doing some hard investigating, and they didn't have any vested interest. The people that are covering Purdue on a daily basis, the people that are covering IU, the people that are covering Michigan, so on and so forth, cannot burn that bridge down. And you have to understand that, because all these universities, all these SIDs, all these athletic departments have to tell the story, and they have people they want to let in because they understand and they trust them. Is that true media coverage? No, we always call it state-run media. But okay, so that's just my 2 cents on what's happening, what has happened in the greater scope in the Big Ten Media Day. The biggest stories of the Big Ten Media Day, of course, not being covered that much. Now let's talk about the more fun stuff. That was a lot of an intro. You came here to talk about Purdue, I'm sure. So let's talk about Purdue. First off, very noteworthy to me because I love this stuff. It's not that big of a deal. Walters hinted at new football uniforms coming in game 1 right away. Our old pal Teddy, who used to be a writer here at Boiled Sports, who's now Boiler Uniforms, I think, on Twitter. You should follow him if you don't. He's been keeping it under his hat, so he knew before Walters hinted at it, Purdue has new uniforms coming, though. You saw, and I think this is cool, they're bringing back the old Tiller era, or a version of the Tiller era helmet. They're having a white stripe down the center, thinner black stripes, slight white pinstripe around the new version of the Motion P that Brom brought in with the black, thicker outline. If that matters to you, cool. If it doesn't, now you know. The other thing, very, very important, another very, very important thing is Coach Walters has not had the Purvis burger at Triple X. That was sad to me, and he says I think he says doesn't find it appetizing or appealing. Doesn't find it appealing. That was sad. It broke my heart. It's going to take a while to get over that. He will try it, I bet, and hopefully he loves it. Goodness. But you know what? If you stay in the shape that he does, you probably don't want to eat a Purvis burger. Opens, it's like a gateway drug. Then you start eating it all the time if you're on campus. One thing he said was interesting. He wants Indiana to be the center of recruiting. He thinks it's very important for a state, the local talent to come to a big university like Purdue. He thinks it provides a foundation for the program for important things, culture, that matter. Nothing shocking there. Let's see. He said that the Tiller Tunnel and the stands will be ready by the first game. I think there's no doubt about that. Purdue has been very clear about this. There's never been any exception. Walter said he's been on the phone with everybody involved in the project. He's been involved with Babinski, just making sure, having assurances that the stadium is going to be ready. If you follow us on Twitter, you'll see that the stadium itself has commented on this. You can check that out. But stadium's going to be ready. I think there's good reason to be concerned about the turf, just because it is really torn up. If you've seen pictures, there was a TikTok video in the last couple days that was released by just a guy who pretty much breaks into football stadiums during his travels. He got in there. You can see a better view of the field there than almost anywhere. Of course, you can look at the cam. I can't remember the link that shows the field, and it's been covered with plywood and things so heavy machinery can go over it. The field is torn up, but the stands are coming along, so that's really, really good news. Other thing that Coach Walters talked about, which I thought was interesting, is he intercepted Coach Harrell twice in college. I thought that was a very interesting sidebar. He wanted to bring that out at Media Day, kind of kept that close to the vest, but I think that's a pretty interesting sidebar. Let's see. The players and Walters alike say the locker room's been great. He says it's been exemplary. The energy's been high. The players love his energy, say it's a different place. When I talked to Hudson Card and Gus Hartwig, they said that before. This is weeks ago before this Media Day. Said the same thing. Sure, they're beating the drum, but they're good at it. Let's see. At the Media Day, you had Sheffield, Nussi Kane, and Hudson Card, good representatives of the program. Two longtime vets, and then, of course, Card, the transfer in. Interesting note, if you didn't know it already, Hudson Card completed 70% of his passes last year at Texas. 6 TDs, just 1 interception, and nearly 1,000 yards, just under like 998 yards, in case you didn't know that. If you want to do a quick search on YouTube, I highly suggest just go looking at Hudson Card highlights. I bet the people here live have seen these because you guys are the diehards, but if you haven't done it, I really suggest it. It's very, very fun to watch. Shows you a lot what he's about. What I see more than anything with Cards, obviously, he's deadly with his feet. He can extend a play, and he keeps his eyes down the field. All really, really good stuff. Finally, it's energy. Oh, okay. One more thing I want to talk about was basketball. Purdue's nearing its European tour. If you haven't been paying attention to the updates there, there's some interesting tidbits. Probably all stuff you've heard, but I'll just reiterate them just in case. The scrimmage is coming up August 5th in Mackey Arena. They had tickets for sale. I can't go. I've got a family thing that day. Hope you can go. If you go and you're a regular and you follow us on Twitter, let me know what your firsthand account is. I know Greg's going in the margins over here. Greg said he was going to go. I saw that. So I would appreciate that. I mean, I'll, of course, follow and read whatever I can about the scrimmage. I'm sure there'll be some highlights, some videos, but tell me your firsthand account. That's all good stuff. because I think, number one, I think it's going to be, they still haven't gotten air conditioning in Mackey. If you guys want to tell me I'm wrong, I'd love it. Greg says he's going good. But I still don't think there's air conditioning in Mackey. Maybe I'm wrong, but I still don't think there's air conditioning in Mackey. And so it's going to be hot as blazes. I mean, last time I was in Mackey for one of these was a couple years ago, and it was, I think, at least 720 degrees and humid in Mackey. So if you're braving that, that's awesome. Let's see. Oh, Zach, the Purdue fan, I just saw it says, how many coins do I have in the Fleck Bank? Dude, it's full. I put so many coins in the Fleck Bank. I've earned my way in there. I've got a savings account. I've got a 401k in the Fleck Bank. I'm good. So if I walk in, Coach Fleck and we're pals. Another thing about Europe, interesting, of course, and I don't think I've addressed this because I haven't been on very often. One thing is, of course, Zach Edey is going to Europe. He is not playing for Purdue. That leaves opportunity to see a totally new look Purdue without Edey as the centerpiece. You'll get to see a lot of Trey Kaufman-Renn. You'll get to see a lot of different offensive looks. But and the other thing that's really interesting, of course, is Matt Painter is not going with the Purdue team. Matt Painter is going with the USA Select or whatever they call it, just like Edey's going with the Canada Select team, or I don't know about the terminology, but they're both going. Painter is going to be coaching an assistant coach on the USA. I think I'm right. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. The main USA team that will be playing actually in the same pool play as Canada. That Edey will be playing for the men, not the college or the U19 or whatever. I think it's the full team. I think I'm correct. But anyway, so that's about it. That's noteworthy. And we're getting ready. We're getting closer to kickoff every day. Let's see. I think that's about all I've got for you. Big Ten Media Day, it's a nice thing because it's a marker, right? It really shows you, okay, we are getting close. If you watch for hours on end, like I have the last 2 days, like I'm still watching right now, you may learn a nugget here and there about a team, an opponent, some player that has a great, human interest story. But generally, you're not going to take away a whole bunch. Camp opens, I think, in a week and a day or something like that. And that's when we start feeling like we're getting even closer. Again, the things you're going to hear, the things that come out of camp are going to be controlled. Purdue does not have open camp under Coach Walters. I think there'll be a couple days where the media is allowed in there during drills. I don't think they're going to be showing a lot. I think Coach Walters believes in the power of having the advantage of not letting everybody know what you're going to do. The only coach we've seen in modern memory that had completely open practices was Coach Hazel. That went great. So I guess this is a pretty good. This is a pretty good way to go. So we'll see what's gonna happen, but there's a lot to be excited for, and you can almost smell that real football's on the way. I get a couple comments on the side. I'm going to react. Greg McManus is here, like I said. Ted Berkey's here. Tom Headington's here. Hammer down, boiler up. Zach, the Purdue fan, like I said, he's got some funny comments on here. Long time no see. Thanks for tuning in. And then let's see. Dylan is here. And how you doing, brother? I think Dylan has been hosting his own podcast, successful podcast, and really just tearing down the Boiled Sports empire in the process. Which, like I told you, I think it is such a great time to be a Purdue fan because there are so many podcasts. If you want to get that itch scratched, there is a thing you can turn into about once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week when we get rolling into season. Lots of good people. I think Bragg's in the Stands, another one. There's a lot of good content out there, but none of that content, except for this one, has which is the reason I think you tune in. So Mohill 93, our pal who goes to road games, is here. This is great. But yeah, Dylan, we're all pals. We know that. All fighting the same fight. We're all on the same side of this battle. So, but thank you. I am near 20 minutes. So mission accomplished. I have wasted your work day. You're almost near the end of the work day. It's 4:10 on the East Coast and then all the way to the Midwest. And you can mail it in from here out, and you can just go to the water cooler and talk about all the things that you've seen at the Big Ten Media Days, if you'd like. Nathan Anderson's now tuning in, and he's here for the handsomeness. Thank you. Let's go, brother. But thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a great day. I hope you are not melting. I hear it's hot outside. I have not been outside in a few hours. Hot, humid, looks like it's rained here in central Indiana. So stay safe, gosh darn it. And when in Mackey Arena, stay hydrated. God bless you. Hammer down. We'll talk to you soon. See ya.